Setup. Thanks everybody for joining. This is an R and Pharma workshop. We're excited to bring this workshop after the conference that we held last month. We're going to kick things off today looking at Shiny and high performance computing with Michael Mayer, who's an engineer at Posit. With that, Michael, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my screen share and we'll see if you can kick things off.
Okay, great. No, I think the title is probably Turbocharge your Shiny app by offloading computations to HPC environments. And I think this topic is fairly dear or close to me because, I've been talking to so many people, customers, users, friends that are developing Shiny applications for, but at some point their computations is just getting too too big, and then either the interactivity of the application is suffering, um, or sometimes the whole environment is crashing because they're using too much resources and stuff like that. So I thought it would be good to highlight possibilities how we can offload computations from a HPC cluster. And yeah, also important for today. A little caveat: I'm not a Shiny developer. I'm not a data scientist either. So you probably wonder, what's this guy actually doing here? The reason uh, why I'm, and probably also, yeah, good point. I probably also can switch on my camera that you can see me. Um, the reason why I thought I would provide this workshop today, because quite often you have data scientists that would like to use such a thing, well, but then they are kind of not aware of how the whole infrastructure setup works. And I will today show you two basic workflows using two two of my favorite R packages, how you can deal with that in a way that you can abstract all of the infrastructure setup out of things. Yeah. And I think we are kind of like 4 minutes past, so maybe let's then get it officially started. Let me also just introduce myself again. So my name is Michael. I'm a solutions engineer here at Posit. I joined about 4 years ago, and as a solution engineer, I'm working with many large pharma customers, but also uh, customers with specific HPC needs. And as mentioned before, today I will present you with two possibilities, two ways how you can offload HPC computations to HPC cluster in a very elegant way. Good. And so the idea that I have here is I will first talk a little bit more how this all is going to work. There's a document that you can follow along. I will post the link in that chat box, and probably also can start share the screen. And I hope that, yeah.
There we
Okay, so
go.
this, yeah, I think you should be able to see my screen. So I mean, and, the idea is I will start with introducing the problem, the approach that we will take, and then every one of you, I hope, has a existing RStudio or positron or IDE locally available, and then we can play with a Shiny application that is using some computation locally, and then we will go step by step by connecting that to a remote HPC cluster and to see what happens. All right, and now in terms of background, um, combining a Shiny application with a HPC cluster is definitely not something for the faint-hearted, because there's also lots of complexity involved. Number one is you are on a Shiny server. How do you reach your HPC cluster? How can you travel the network? So what we will use today is to use SSH connection, which stands for Secure Shell. And I mean, even if you have a Shiny server from where you can directly submit jobs to HPC clusters such as Slurm cluster or so, then you still also need a way to actually use the CLI or use some package that helps you to abstract out that whole gory CLI usage. In addition to that, we all know that R, and this workshop is mainly focusing on R today, R needs lots of packages. And from a Shiny application perspective, you probably want to have the same R packages on your Shiny server than you have on your remote HPC, while at the same time, you don't want to pollute your library path on your remote HPC with some some packages that you then can override. So any package installation on the remote HPC should be done in a way that it doesn't interfere with you running other programs on the HPC cluster. So, I mean, that having said, if I scroll down here, um, I mean, I hope that everyone knows what a HPC cluster is. I mean, very high level HPC cluster for the purpose of today consists of three types of servers or nodes. The head node, where the main scheduler process runs, which I always call like the brain of the operations. Login nodes, this is where the users can log in to interact with the HPC cluster, like submitting jobs, post-processing, and so on and so forth. That's where interaction is happening. And then you have compute nodes. And compute nodes is where the actual computations are happening. And access to the compute nodes typically is only possible by submitting a job to the scheduler. And to further down, I have a little graph here that shows the two ways how you can integrate things. So here you have a Shiny server on a so-called service or login node. And so login nodes, as we just discussed, allow you to submit jobs directly to the compute nodes via HPC CLI, like Slurm CLI and stuff like that. So that is maybe that's what I call like the tight integration. However, given which organization that you are with, your HPC administrators may not warm to the idea of adding a service node or opening the login nodes to host something like a Shiny server or even POSIT Connect. So that's why we will actually start with the tough bit here by having a Shiny server outside of the HPC cluster and then connecting to the SSH, to the login node via SSH, and then via some magic, we are then automatically submitting the actual computation to the HPC nodes, and the results will be transferred back to the Shiny application, all very transparently. And the main two packages, those of you that haven't seen already, is ClusterMQ and a fairly new package called Mirai. By way of a little bit of background, ClusterMQ is our front end for a messaging framework called ZeroMQ. And ZeroMQ is a highly efficient communication framework that allows you to have low latency or high efficiency message passing of sorts. In addition to that, you will also see a little bit of Mirai tonight. Or for me, it's tonight because as you probably can hear, I'm not based in the US. I'm based in Europe, specifically Switzerland. The second package is called Mirai, which is kind of similar to ClusterMQ, that it uses also very efficient messaging framework. However, it's using a tool called Nano Message, or NNG for short, and that is supposed to be like the successor of ZeroMQ eventually. All right. So now, how can we get started? So I probably also should have mentioned to you that there is this Git Git repository that I created. So what you can do is I will post the as a first exercise. You can post. You can go ahead and clone that GitHub repository locally. At this point in time, you don't need to worry about any HPC access, user account details. We will all get there eventually. So I'll probably stop here and give you like 2 or 3 moments, or 2 or 3 minutes to clone the repository. And once and once you've done that, I will be using positron, as you can see here, and I already had a little bit of a head start, so I just can click on open folder and do. Yeah, I mean, that's a good idea. A good question. I mean, um, do we have, does everyone have the ability to run R code locally, either with RStudio or VS Code, or do you need access?
Michael,
Ah,
I've got a few environments I can share in the chat box.
okay, fine.
And I'll put all the instructions there so people can just join. And I think if it's mostly just going to be local, they can use that for a hands-on for today's session.
Okay, fair enough. Cool. No,
Yeah.
thanks for. Indeed. The end goal of this first exercise is that you uh, have up zero open and working directory set. And yeah, actually, maybe I can also do that here so people can kind of follow along. So this is the workshop environment. So I I think I can click here. I already have an account. Seems. And you can register real quick, and then you come here to the new session, and then you have access to whatever ID you want. Maybe let's just use positron here and click on launch, and within positron should come up in a moment. Ah, there we are. So eventually we should see positron in the web browser here. And then there we are. Cool. And now let's do open folder. No, ah, hang on. File. There's the new folder thing. Open new folder from template. Yeah, so you click on new folder from template, and we choose our project. We click on next, and maybe do shiny HPC, and that's. Well, actually, we can do it. Let's do it differently. I mean, we also can directly clone the repository over here. That's much easier. So I just need to go back to my little web browser to see the URL again. This URL. And I go back to the uh, clone repository thing, copy and paste that stuff, and I clone it in that folder. Yeah, why not? And now it's cloning, and it's asking me to open that whole thing in a separate folder. Okay, so just a little pulse check. I mean, do we have um, do we have someone that already has managed to do that, or are you still doing things? Uh, Someone can type either no or yes in the chat box, and or send a
Yeah, I'm
send.
I'm adding Michael, the Posit Cloud. If people are familiar with Posit Workbench and Positron, I added the steps to get into that, so they should be in the process of setting that up. If they're newer to this environment or haven't used Positron, I'm going to add Posit Cloud, and this is going to make it work pretty easy for you because I went ahead and cloned all the files. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm just now pasting that into the chat box, so it
Okay,
should be ready here.
cool. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What my hash means said that Workbench should be fine for now. Yeah.
Okay. So I just put the Posit Cloud in. So for people on today, you have basically two different ways to do the hands-on portion. You can use the Workbench instructions if you want to try out Positron. You'll need to clone the GitHub repo directly in Positron. If you're not familiar how to clone, or you're not familiar with Positron, or you're not familiar with Posit Workbench, then I put Posit Cloud in. There's basically a link. You click that, you sign into Posit Cloud. It will take you directly to the workspace for today. And then you'll just click start and it should launch the environment for you. And all of the files will be available inside of Positron, or excuse me, Posit Cloud.
Okay, great. So, okay, now that you have the first thing I wanted to do is to change the working directory in this app -0 here. And I've already done that stuff. And once, so you get WD should report that you are in this uh, um, app-0 folder, and as a starting point, so that you get a reproducible result, let's type renv colon init, renv init on the R console, and this will no, sorry, not that renv colon restore. Sorry, I'm lost in the equation. That's what you should run. And RMV restore, in your case, will ask you whether to activate the environment, and it will eventually install a number of R packages that you would need for the Shiny app that we will load. And I mean, I can make it a little bit more exciting for me here if I do ren, if I just delete this ren folder, if I delete this thing from our profile, go back to the console, then I'm starting with the same thing than you. So if I now do ren restore, it asks me to activate the project. I type 1, and it will immediately ask me, yeah, whether it wants me to update those packages. I say yes, and it will install those things. Very good. So this will take a moment. Now it asks me to restart my session. And now you see it has some stuff. complain about. If I do run status, then you see it's lots of, in my case, it has lots of packages that it wants to install but hasn't installed yet. So maybe let's just do another run restore. Maybe we have a problem. Um, some permission denied. Okay, so Evo, I mean, which environment are you working on? Are you on the workshop environment or POSIX Cloud or locally?
Think in the workbench environment they mentioned.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Uh,
wonder, it might be the working directory. I had to, in the cloud environment, go to the first app and set the working directory as the application with the lock file. So I don't know if that could be it.
yes, just trying. Yeah, ah, because it's trying to install things into the side library, which is not. But if that's the Eva, could you maybe try first to run activate and then run restore? Maybe it works that way. Um, first, maybe because I mean, and once you did the activate, then restart the session, so it should load the should set up the R environment, and once that's set up, it should have a different library path locally to install the packages, and then the run restore should work. For cloning, maybe yes, but once you did the random activate for sure, restarting the session is always actually needed because it needs to set up the new library path. Okay, so once you master that thing, I mean, you should be uh, in a position that if you run status, that should then like my on my screen shouldn't report any issue. I think then we finally can take a look at the app as such. And if you want to open the app, we can go through it. So it is a Shiny application, of course, and we are using already here the cluster MQ package to do at least some kind of parallel computing locally. Um, and that is what we said here, because ClusterMQ supports a couple of compute backends, and we will use for the first iteration like multi-process backend, which means it just forks locally our processes, and but there's no remote HPC, no nothing involved. So that's all well and good. And then I I do I use the Palmer Penguins data set to run a GLM process in a form of a bootstrap, and finally I'm plotting a histogram of the intercept and the slope of the model. So here is the actual compute function where you see I'm doing a bootstrapping where I'm sampling from the actual data set and running the GLM and returning back the output coefficients for intercept and x int 1, which is like the slope. Um, and, uh, and the nice thing about this cluster MQ function, and we will not have too much time to really go very deep into the cluster MQ package, but I mean, there's good documentation that I also reference in the quarter document that I shared earlier. the magic with cluster MQ happens behind the so-called Q function. So you have like a capital Q here, and this Q function is kind of the secret sauce. It will run the function, like the bootstrap trial function that you saw earlier, against these initial parameters, like in a range, all numbers from 1 to number of trials. It will also export some constant data, that is kind of the Palmer penguins data set. It will run so and so many processes, as many as I said for number of cores. You see how that works in a moment. I'm using the Palmer penguins data set, and instead of sending one function call after the others, I'm using some chunking here. And chunk size of 1 would mean all stuff is being sent at once. Chunk size equals trials would mean that one would be sent after the other. And here I'm just using something that, depending on the core size, would produce 10 chunks in total. Okay, and this result is then being returned, and then I'm doing a couple of other UI elements like some sliders where I can set the number of bins and for the histogram, number of trials and stuff like that. And I have a server function here that calls all of that together. I mean, maybe doing is probably better than talking. If I just click on Run Shiny application, then you see that the Shiny application eventually will come up here. And you already can see that there's some stuff going on. So it already has ran things for 100 trials using a bin size of 100, or allowing for 100 bins, and on one core. So if I rerun the same thing with 316 trials, you see the same thing is rerun, still all locally, and the histograms are being updated. And with more data, you see the histograms are getting a little bit more rounded or more smooth. And as I increase the number of trials here, really, you see not only does the histogram get smoother, also the compute time is expanding. And depending on which environment you have, you already may be maxing out on 1,000 trials or 3,000 trials. So I mean, just be a little bit cognizant of the local resources. And of course, if I now change the slider to maybe only have like 10 bins, then of course the plot is updated without recalculating. Oh, but now you also can see that the need to get rid of this. Have this, yeah. So you see, for me, the last thing finished in about 8 seconds, which was probably kind of long, but now I just can select a different number of cores, and now the whole thing runs on 3 cores. And let's see what it has come up. And now the whole thing is, instead of 8 seconds, it's now running has run in 5 seconds. So if I now go maybe to 31,000, you can then see that it takes a lot longer now. It has now run in 9 seconds on 3 CPUs, but now let's do a test again to do it on 1 core, and you see immediately it's taking much longer. You see the ETA as well has been much longer, and you're probably more looking at 20 something seconds. There we are. I don't know why I did that, but I mean, yeah, execution time is now 22 seconds. So that means by using 3 cores, we managed to get the execution time down from 22 seconds to 9 seconds, which I think is not too bad for now. Well, but we will do a bit more later when we go to the next step. And as you probably also can see, using this cluster MQ package, the actual compute function is fairly simple, actually. We just need to worry about this Q function, and you need to prepare the actual compute function like this bootstrap trial to make it use those the respective parameters. And then the only other thing you need to do is to define via the options which backend you want to have. And for the multi-process backend, it's fairly easy because you just need to set that option. Later on, when we go to remote HPC or full remote HPC, you will see that we not only need to set the the scheduler or the backend, we also need to specify some thing called templates. Well, but more of that later. I think I'll probably stop here for now and just see how far people have gone. Yeah, and by the way, if you cannot use more than one core for now, don't worry. I mean, we will soon bridge that gap, and I think then I hope that the performance improvements will be even bigger.
Yeah, it looks like it's working, and a few people have cloned into Posit Cloud, so I think they should be in pretty good shape there. Um, Michael, I was just going to say in Posit Cloud, there's only 4 cores available, so
Yeah.
people can go up to that amount. No, I can see you have 14 on yours. So I wasn't sure
Yes.
if they need that
Sure.
many.
Yeah, and no, the reason why I have 14 is because I am working locally on my MacBook
Yeah,
Pro. But I mean, don't worry if you only have four, maybe even two or one. I think I just want you to get a general feeling of how this Shiny application is being set up by having like this those three sliders that you can configure the cluster MQ package by loading it and setting the appropriate scheduler, which for now is multiprocessing. And then depending on how much cores you have, how much trials you define, the respective computation will be done and the histogram will be plotted. And by the way, this is also what will remain, what will keep you following for the remainder of today's workshop. Yeah, because we will stick with the same example for one or two more iterations before we leave and go over to the Mirai stuff.
yeah, Michael, a quick note here. The Workbench images, I think only have 2 cores, and the Posit Cloud can be maxed up to 4 cores. I thought it was pretty interesting that Posit Cloud, I think, will default to one. If you go up to the top right hand side, there's a settings wheel, and you can change the resources or the cores to
Yeah.
4. And when I did that, and I reran the Shiny app, the number of cores were automatically detected from what I had changed. So I thought that was pretty cool that the app could
Yes,
figure out automatically how many cores I had available for the computation. So
yes,
if you want to see that in Posit Cloud, you can just add more cores if needed. So
yes. And by the way, uh, yeah, if I mean, many people, if they do parallel computing for the first time with R, for example, they may end up eventually using the parallel package. And if they load the package parallel, which is a base R package, then they will run into lots of trouble, no matter on which system they are. The reason is that parallel is base R package and has been there right from day one of the R software. So it is not aware of modern ways of allocating CPUs and stuff like that. So parallel by default will use all the physically available cores on whatever server you have. However, as you probably know, when it comes to HPC clusters, the schedule will only allocate you 2 out of 20 cores on a compute node, maybe. or in POSIX Cloud, there's also mechanisms, although that the physical server behind the scenes is much larger. The um, the parallel package uh, will probably likely still detect all of those physically available cores, while your session only has like the 2 or 4 cores that Phil was explaining to you. So um, if you want to avoid any problems by using too much resources, I always recommend you to use the parallelly package, which is like a package from Futureverse. Well, but parallelly, instead of using detect cores, is using available cores, and that has support for any scheduler, for Linux C groups and stuff like that. So whatever parallelly detects is much better than the than what the parallel package is doing. So I mean that's why I'm setting for the number of cores a max value of parallelly available cores. And to Phil's point, I mean, this is precisely why I'm seeing 14 cores, because I have like 14 cores available. POSIX Cloud has 2 and POSIX Workshop has 4 available. So, I mean, just keep that in mind that figuring out core, available cores, always use the parallelly package. Good point, Phil. Thanks. Cool. So I think we have like a couple of people have probably succeeded running the app as it is, right? So I at least know that Ivo, uh, Mahesh Kumar, and Lovemore Kava have succeeded. So that's good. And I hope there's others also that are following along. Right. So now, I mean, we have some nice toy example. And the next step now, we want to make use of some remote HPC cluster. And if we go back to this document that I started to share with you earlier, and there is we now need to run a couple of commands on the terminal, um, and the first step that we now do is we build a SSH connection to the HPC cluster. And maybe before we do that, let you will need to first claim your user account name, and I will put another link into the chat box here. This is like a application on shinyapps.io. If you click on that app, you will it will contemplate a little bit, and after that, it will give you back a username. And this username is different for each of you, and you just need to maybe write it down for now, because that will be uh, very helpful. This will be important for what is coming next. And so while you extract your and claim your usernames again, let me just go back to this document. So the SSH connection to the HPC cluster. I'm sure that some of you have used SSH for various bits and pieces. So by default, when you so-called SSH into your server, it will probably ask you for your username and password, and you supply that all, and then everything is happy, and you're into the remote server. Oh, but SSH also supports key-based authentication, where you create a key pair consisting of a so-called private key and a public key. And if you then store the public key on the remote server, once you trigger SSH connection, then this uh, then your local private key will be no, your local private key will be then used to compare against remote public key, and if they match, then you will be allowed in without any password. So it's something that you should handle with care. Well, but to make things easy here, I have prepared this command here that you all can run. Should work on both POSIT Workshop and POSIT Cloud. So if I go back to my little thing here, uh, I, and I hope that you have access to a terminal as well. So if I go to the terminal here, I just interrupt the app for now, and I run this SSH keygen command. And this, in my case, it already has some SSH key generated. And now I, I just can overwrite mine. And now it has created something locally. So if I look into the .ssh folder, you should see some my HPC, what was it? Yeah, my HPC stuff. So it has created a my HPC file that is kind of the private key, and my hpc.pub is the public key. If you want to see how that looks like, we can do cut on it. So it's got lots of gibberish, I always say. Ah, yeah.
Michael, I was going to say, if you don't mind just sharing what we need to run in the terminal in the chat box, might be good.
Yes. Okay, cool. I'll do that. So this is this maybe.
And then just to make sure I'm on the same page, so we went to the shinyapps.io link for the user account. It
Yes.
assigned us a user account, and then we're going to use that in the terminal with the
Yes.
SSH code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for this step, you don't need to use it yet,
Oh,
but
okay.
it'll come in next step, and I'll explain to you. But for now, maybe focusing on calling this SSH keychain command, and that should hopefully create you something. And then if you then run this cat command as well, and in the terminal, then you also should see similar gibberish showing the private and the so-called public key.
Okay, amazing. So just to make sure I'm on the same page. So run the first SSH keygen in the terminal, let
Yes,
that run, and then when that's finished, run the cat statement in the
yes,
terminal. Okay.
yes, precisely. And I mean, the cat command is not really needed. It's just to sort of give you a little bit of confidence that something has happened and there's some stuff there. And I mean, those two files, like the public private key, they will be your entry point to the remote HPC cluster in a moment.
Okay.
Um,
I tested those in Posit Cloud and it seems to be working great. So
awesome.
yeah.
Cool. So, and maybe if I do,
Because I was working ahead and I tried to run the second app and I think it timed out because of permission. So I'm guessing this is probably why.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, right. Because I mean, uh, the next thing, and then maybe I'll, next thing that you need to now run is this command here. This is maybe a little bit more involving, and here you need to make sure that the username is precisely the username that you got. So in my case, it was POSIT0007, so in your case, should be anything slightly above 007. And if I now run this command here locally, I can show it again, uh, doing this thing, and I go back to do POSIT00, step 6, right? And now you see it's telling you what it's trying to do, attempting to log in, one key remains to be installed, and then the password is a little bit super secure, so secure that I put it in a document. I hope that IT security doesn't listen here. So if you then put in this password, then, interesting, cannot read. Are you also getting the same error messages, guys?
Right now for me, Michael, it's running something in the terminal. I put in my username from the
Yeah.
Shiny apps, and I think it's running something in the terminal.
Oh,
And
but
so-
is it the same? Are you also on the SSH copy ID command?
yeah, so I just ran the username, and when I did that, let me just double check. It something
Oh,
popped up and says user bin SSH copy ID info source of keys to be installed. And it says my underscore HPC dot pub. And so and now it's just flashing in the terminal.
oh,
Yeah. So it looks like it's running something.
yeah.
So so I wasn't sure if I was supposed to put something in here.
So then I don't know why you get, because I mean, Lachmann is getting the timeout, which you're getting source of things to be installed. All right. Let's just do the following thing. I mean, we already have uh close to the 1 hour mark. Maybe let's do a 5 minute break and let's reconvene at a full hour. So I will just look to see what's going on. And for those of you that need a quick bio break, we also can have a quick bio break. So I'll be back in a moment.
Hey, Michael, how you doing? Need a
Yeah,
little bit more
doing
help?
great. Yeah, I mean, trying to figure out why people have problems uh, with the command.
Want to do another 2 to 3 minutes? Super.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Mahesh, I think my HPC is not a public host. It is like the private key that you have installed in your home directory in tilde slash dot ssh my HPC. And I mean, the SSH copy ID command, it basically takes all of those parameters where dash I is like the specifies the private key, dash P is like the port number 443, and then username at this long thing is then kind of the host name and the username that you want to connect to. And that should be your posit 00 something at pwb nlb blah blah blah. And I mean, Phil, I mean, if you run the command on your POSIT workbench environment, does it work?
Yeah, you want me to share my screen? I can kind of show you what I
Yeah,
have going. Let me see if I can have it up. Yeah, I do. Okay. So this is the first app, which seems to be running fine. I had no issues with that. Here's the second app. Um, RInf and Pack are a little bit strange in Posit Cloud because you don't really have the idea of projects in Posit Cloud because everything's managed and contained. So it's sometimes I have to kind of work around some of the
mm,
RInf features. Um, and so what I did is I ran, let me see if I can. So here's the history. So I ran in the terminal this first function, which seemed to run just fine, if you can see that.
yeah,
And then I ran the second one. Let me see if I can, this one, the cat one.
yeah.
And then I ran this one and I changed my to my username that I got from
Mm,
from the Shiny app. And then that's it. So when I ran it it outprinted some of the text that's on my screen here. And it gave me this large private key, gave me a private key for this. And then I think this is the part where I ran the new section and it says info to be installed, info attempting, and then I got this error as it cannot connect host,
yeah, that's
connection
right.
timed out. And so
Ah, you
now,
also get,
yeah,
you also get a timeout.
yeah, right here, right here.
Ah, okay. So this is then the same for everyone. Do we have anyone that doesn't get any timeout?
thought that I saw somebody ha- having some success in Workbench,
Yeah, but
but maybe not based on the recent.
yeah, then, because I mean,
Yeah.
would be very bad. I mean, I will run the same stuff here
Do, do you want me to try to run
on the.
the copy ID command again?
No, no, I'll
Okay.
try it locally on
Oh,
my
okay.
on. I have a workshop session as well, so I can see what the problem is. Was it 00?
Do I need to change the cluster MQ host to my account here? It says
No, no,
use your
no, no.
user and host.
Yeah, no, but I can reproduce that from Workbench from the workshop environment. There's no connection possible, so there must be some firewall rules that prevent that thing from happening. Do we have do we have the same thing on our studio on Posit Cloud as well, or is it just?
So I'm in Posit Cloud here. Does this section here matter at all? Do I need to change this to my host, SSH host?
No, no. I mean.
That should still work.
No, I mean, Phil, the point is if the SSH copy ID gives you timeout, then it doesn't
Ah.
matter what you do with the app.
Okay. Yeah, got it. I'll try it again just to see what happens. So,
Ah, right. Hang on, guys. I think I know what's going on here. The problem is pretty much me because
that's a Taylor Swift song.
okay, no 0. I think I know what I need to fix. So it should be okay. Good. Phil, or can someone try again and see if it works now?
I think it just worked on my screen.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah, that's great. So Phil, I mean
Right.
now you just can press
Just
yes here.
type yes.
Yes. And now it asks you for the password that I posted in the chat earlier. I'll do that once more. Hang on one moment. And then press enter once you paste
Okay,
it.
let me I don't know if I messed it up by typing it too much, so let me
I
can
don't,
I
it doesn't matter. You cannot mess it up.
Oh, okay.
It either works or you get another error message.
Can I paste into it okay?
Yeah, should
Let's see
be.
what happens. Okay.
There we are.
Okay,
Great.
cool.
Successful. Yeah, Evo is also there. Great.
Woohoo.
Awesome.
All right.
So,
Well,
so, and I mean, now what we now can do is a little test. Uh, we can now run the following command, and then you on the command line, and then you will will check if you actually can uh, log in. So if you run this SSH command again, replacing username with your actual username, then you should be able to log into the HPC cluster. Oh, here, sorry, I mean lowercase s all the way. That
oh,
is
okay. Got it.
me.
Got it.
Oh, Jennifer's also in. Great. You're making progress. You get there. You'll get there. Cool. SSH thing. Very good.
Password, is that the same password
Ah,
you just gave us?
yes. Sorry. And now you either can supply your same password and alternatively you also can do this thing. For those of you that want to get in without a password, they can run this command here. So Phil, if you just press Control C and we run the same thing with the -i tilde slash SSH. Yeah. Control A
Yeah.
will get you all the way immediately. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotta change this.
Great. SSH.
Does not contain an expected
Ah,
string.
yes. Sorry. Control C, and I think the -i is lowercase I. I think it got garbled up.
Okay,
Uh,
lowercase I.
yeah.
Lowercase I. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Got it. This guy. All
Yes.
right. Something's happening.
Yeah, and there you go. I mean, now just by running this SSH command uh, um, and specifying the SS, our private SSH key, you are able to log onto the remote HPC cluster without any passwords.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Awesome. So
okay, cool. So, and I mean, this is precisely what we will,
let me give it back to you, Mike.
what is like a one-time setup that we had to do, but I mean, going forward, whenever you use that server and you run SSH like we just did, you will be able to log into the HPC cluster without any password. So great. So maybe let me just take over the screen here a little bit, and let's go back to my little positron thing. So you also see I only ran like the SSH copy ID command, and again, as a little sanity check, I do SSH-I for the key, -P, my username, and I'm in. Bang. And you also, if you want to be facetious, you can change the username to whatever you want. For example, to mine. Well, but I'm 100% sure that you will not get in because my private key is different to yours. Okay, excellent. So now let's go to the next step. Now we already made this one application working. Now let's open the app-1. And app-1 is pretty much the same as the app0. The exception being is that this options thing has changed a little bit. And I will walk you through what that means here. So the backend scheduler is SSH. That means whenever ClusterMQ wants to compute something, it runs some kind of SSH command. That's the first line. Second line is you need to tell them which host to use. And again, in my case, it's posit007 at something something. So in your case, you just need to make sure that the username up here is the one for you that you got assigned. Then for debugging, which we may need in a moment or not, there's output being dumped into that file. And in order to hide all of the gory stuff like we had to do before, like which SSH key, which port number, and many other things, now all of that is hidden in a so-called template, so it is SSH TMPR. And you also see that in the same folder you have this SSH TMPL file. And here you see this is looks very daunting. And I think it's very difficult to understand. I mean, for those of you that are more technically involved, here is the P443 and the -I option. You probably should still remember from the previous command. All the other things is kind of more gibberish. Well, but what we're doing here, we are creating a so-called SSH tunnel to this remote host, and we're running some cluster MQ processes on the remote server. And I mean, all of those curly brackets are just using some kind of templating with variables that are being taken care of within the cluster MQ package. All right, over now, let's do the following. Let's save the app. Let's try if we can get it running. And I think the document that I prepared is uh, has one additional step, well, but yeah, because I mean, what you will probably again see the same thing than me connected to something running one calculations. However, this is what happens behind the scenes. Here is now, as we mentioned previously, uh, there has to be some kind of setup on the remote server. And maybe before I go further with the explanation, uh, does anyone of you get any error message already, or are we still okay? Or do you see the same thing than me? Okay, that's excellent, Mahesh. Cool. And I also can kind of share this window here. Here I'm logged into this HPC cluster, and if I do SQ here, oh, right, and here, yeah, and here I can already see that POSIT 0, that two users are already running stuff. And now I think that will improve very shortly. At the moment, um, yeah, and the HPC cluster that you're connected to is a cloud-based HPC cluster. And that means not, and in a cloud environment, not all of the compute nodes are up and running all the time. That means that at the moment only one compute node is up and running. So whoever will run that user at the job 210 show not 210 one. Do we see? Oh, it's been canceled already. Okay, anyway, excuse. Okay, no, what I'm trying to say here, because it's a cloud-based environment, not all the computers are up and running all the time. So whenever there's a job coming, like you have like 3 jobs now, they're all waiting. But this column in the SQ output under ST, which stands for job state, reads CF for everyone, and CF is short for configuring. So that means at the moment, because you guys have submitted a job of sorts, the remote the HPC cluster is spinning up a compute node, provisioning for you, and that typically takes about 4 minutes and a bit. Yeah, great, and we see already 4 users that have managed to do that stuff. And once we are beyond the 4 or 5 minute mark, then we should see things running. Let's just watch that thing. What I can do, watch SN5. So we should see it flipping to running at any given point. Yeah, there we are. So one person already should have their job being running now. And let's wait until the others are also starting to run. And while that is kind of doing things, so I mentioned before that um, because the HPC cluster does not have any information on what R packages you want to use. I mean, obviously we want to use the Mirai R package, right? The cluster MQ R package. But I mean, we also need to use the Shiny package, maybe the Palmer Penguins package and stuff like that. So in order to facilitate that, I have come up with a little bit of a glue code that is this HPC setup function that you can see in my screen share here. HPC setup will predefine the following 2 things. It will generate a random UUID where the whole deployment, Shiny deployment on the remote HPC can be identified. And the UUID is then being used to generate a directory on the remote HPC where all of the packages will be installed. And additionally, I'm also uh, taking note of all of the locally installed packages on my local server, in the case on POSIT Workbench or POSIT Cloud and stuff like that. And eventually it returns with a package list, package directory, and then it eventually runs this init function where that is being run remotely, and there it will then install all of those packages in the respective library path. Okay, cool, great. So the so Jennifer got an error. Um, Error in pack could not solve package dependencies. That is something that I also cause if you
I got the same message in Posit Cloud. I don't know if the person is working there, but
yeah
I was able to get through it. Like I just worked beyond the error message, and it seemed like things were still working okay. So I've
yeah
noticed in the past, if you're in Posit Cloud, RInf and pack seem to throw some strange errors just because Posit Cloud doesn't really have the idea of like projects. So uh,
yeah.
that may
But
yeah.
yeah, I think that really shouldn't worry here. That doesn't worry me too much here, to be honest. But let's maybe let me try it here on the workshop thing as well, because there is one thing that is probably a problem here. Uh,
Yeah, I
uh,
think you're right. I just got the same error message in the console. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
right. I just need to reconnect to my session. That seems to have stalled on me. Uh, Sorry about that problem, guys, but I think this is the same issue I had when I prepared for this demo, and I think we are entering a little bit of a shaky terror here, so to speak, and I'll explain to you why that is in a moment. So if I type lib here, what do we see? Okay, so we have those two folders, and I check this thing. Yes, yes. Oh my God. Yeah. The reason, and I mean, that kind of disqualifies the workshop environment here for sure, is because if you think about the R installation has the main installation folder where it installs a binary library, the shared library, the R scripts and stuff like that. Well, but it also has a so-called system library that is this folder over here. Well, but in the system library, by default, only base and recommended packages are being installed. While here we see that we have 229 packages. Well, but unfortunately, there's only 30 base and recommended packages. So this workshop environment, and maybe it's the with the uh, same with the POSIX Cloud as well, has a polluted system library, which is not in accordance with anything that I would call best practice. And this pack tool that I'm using in the application code, it is trying to exactly replicate the same packages on the remote HPC than it has installed locally. Well, but because some of the package versions are incompatible with what you have in your R environment and stuff like that, Puck cannot solve dependencies if everything is inconsistent. Okay, let me just think how we can make ends work. I mean, if it comes to the worst, need to we probably need to switch to me doing the whole thing, but I haven't fully given up yet. So what is here? Uh, ah, and By the way, can you, yeah, um, can you guys also check what you have in this folder in your home directories on Posse Cloud? And if there's anything, can I just ask you to remove that thing completely? Oops, like, uh, uh,
So the home directory in Posit Cloud falls to I think it falls to the project folder.
yeah,
Let me
maybe.
see.
I mean, those of you that are working on the workshop environment, they should probably run this command here,
The RM dash R. Oh, okay, got it. Perfect.
something like that.
Does it
And
does it matter where the working directory is, or do we run that in the
ah,
console or in the?
yeah, that's a good point. Let's do it then like that. Minus that's easy, safer that way. So if you want to run it like that and see if that helps. Because we need to get some kind of consistency here.
So run that in the terminal, because I think my terminal is still inside the HPC user account for
Yes,
the.
so if it's there, then you just need to type exit or quit.
Okay.
I mean, you should be properly local to your POSIX cloud thing. And maybe what it is loading. Let me also, let me try if I can fix it on POSIX cloud.
I think if you click on the link that I gave you, Michael, it will take you automatically into the environment that I got set up for today.
Good point.
Yeah, let me give you the link. It should take you right to where you need to go.
Yeah,
Here you go. I'm going to put it in the chat box for you.
thanks.
The only problem with Posit Cloud though is it doesn't. I only installed the tidyverse and not the other packages because of the RINF. So if you just click content at the top, yeah, and then start, yeah, perfect.
Cool, thanks. By the way, has someone cleaned up the R folder and do you still get the same error? Or when you did it, Phil?
I haven't had a chance to do it in Posit Cloud. I was going to see what the right location of the terminal. I'm back into the cloud projects location, and I was just
Okay.
going to wait and double check and see what, what you do here. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah. So
uh,
this is where I'm at.
okay. Um, there should be also a home folder here.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we then need to go to cloud lib and remove that thing here. Well, let's just look what's there. All.file. Yeah, there's plenty of crap. We don't need that. It's just convoluting things. Okay, and if we now do console session restart R, I forgot to lib, uh, then it's still pointing to that two things. So, but now let's look into this folder. That I mean, this is kind of what you
Yeah.
see here. This is a system library with just less than 30 packages that I would exactly 30 packages that I would expect. Well, but then in the cloud lib thing, you now also should have nothing left.
Do, do you mind, Michael, either uh, freezing on this page for a second or giving me or pasting what we need to run in the terminal
Yes.
in the chat
Yeah.
box might help a lot. Just
Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah.
what we need to do is cloud lib. Yes. Oh, I mean, yeah, we're getting further. That's great. Uh, so, I mean, what we need to run is this thing here.
Okay, so the only other thing I think I need to do is I gotta change. So my user directory falls to the projects folder. So I just need to change it. Did you change it to the lib path folder in the terminal?
Yeah. Well, let me just
Okay.
uh, no. I mean, I didn't change any lib paths here. I just ran the rm command as I specified. Now let's just uh, open the file. Open the file. We were at app-1, right? App1, app.r. And now if I do go here, set wd dash run, get wd, right? That's good. Session restart R. No, let's maybe do run restore. Okay. Well, I think that's maybe I need to reinstall run real quick. That's a single dependency thing, so that should be okay. We do run restore. Yes. Activate. No.
I've just
Yes.
been hitting yes on that. I don't know if
Yeah. Do we need to restore? Yeah. Yes, I would, after we removed it, I would recommend that we restore in the app-1 folder as well, because it's a separate R environment. Yeah, so it's downloading things here, and
when this completes, do you mind just letting me see your con or your terminal when you have a yeah. I'm just gonna take a peek. If you don't mind expanding that, I'm gonna look at that real quick. Oh.
oh, I don't know what I did. Um, there we are.
Yeah, see it.
Well, I cannot type anything at the moment. Maybe because the
Oh,
console.
maybe it's okay.
Oh, I can maybe try new terminal. Yeah, so I think maybe we just need to wait. Okay. That can be a bit painful now because I mean that means we're actually running this beautiful setup is using binary packages. Okay. Well, but then I can try to interrupt it and we can there we now now I can type something. Oh, it's very slow. It's also slow for you guys. So, sorry. Uh, Running lots of GCC stuff now. Maybe a session terminate. I will terminate it real quick and restart because that's way too painful. So where we get WD so okay, that's great. And now let's do options, repros. Okay, now that is okay. So files. Let's just check something. Run. I don't know why it doesn't use. Because it should use the right thing for. Ah, yeah. Okay, let's just go back to that stuff. I think we just need to leave that running. There's no way around it. Put that run. Yes. So unfortunately, that may take a while, but I think maybe in the interest of time, I probably uh, can switch to my positron instance, and I can walk you through what's happening next, if that's okay with everyone. And I mean, you can also do the run restore, and hopefully it will eventually come back. So again, let me just. This is my app-1 locally. I run the app again. So, and right, and you see, it works for me now. Um, and I mean, what has already happened behind the scenes is the following. Oops. Does anyone know how I can get rid of this black? Anyway, we are here. So I mean, we have found some error here. Okay, so we have an error here. No package called Palmer penguins. So where does this appear? Now let's see. Uh, this is happening in app.r line 164. 164. That's in the queue function. Um, okay, I think that's also some of the errors that we saw earlier, right? And that is, ah, right. And this is now a little bit, I think you also see something like uh, do you also see the lib path set like that, correct? I mean, if you do see that, now let's just use the SSH command. Let's log onto the cluster, and I mean, those of you that came uh, to the Palmer Penguins error, if you log onto the HPC cluster using this SSH command as before with the -i and -p option, you will find that there is uh, a .shiny folder, and the .shiny folder is what we need to replace this libpath statement here with. So instead of the cluster MQ libs, uh, we set it to this thing. In your case, it will be shiny dash some UUID thing. And if I do it like that, so you just to copy and paste that into the chat box here. This is the piece of code, and .shiny something should be different from you. And then if I rerun the Shiny app, it should be more likely to have it working. So it's there we are. It's okay. So yeah, that's much better now. Great. I mean, as you can see, once I change it to the respective lib path, and I think there's a missing bit in the code that I will fix after the workshop, and you can try it in your own leisure. Oh, but now we have the working Shiny app again. You see the look and feel is still the same, and maybe I even can put it in the in the full screen mode. And you see there's tooltips on the bottom that is currently running some stuff. And I hope that will come back. Can, yeah, there we are. Okay, and I think now we can do precisely the same stuff. We can do 1,000 trials, and immediately it reruns the computation. And for those of you that are logged onto the HPC cluster, you can see that there's now some jobs running, and I see that others are also resubmitting, so that's good to see. And my process is already running here and has just finished, and you see I get a new histogram. And now I think we can beef up the number of cores to, let's say, like 3. And if I now go back to my little window, then you see I'm suddenly running 3 jobs. And that means that I'm using three cores instead of 1. Uh, if I go back to the positron thing, I mean, if you, let's just rerun it again here on 3 cores, and you can also watch the progress bar in a moment. Although now I may also be stuck on yeah, you see the progress bar with three or 4 cores is fairly fast after the initial setup phase. Uh, however, and it has run the computation in 20 seconds. However, when I reduce the whole thing to 1 core in a moment, so again 21 seconds, let's rerun the same thing on 1 core, then it should be somehow different. Oh, but we still run with 100 trials, so I don't expect it to be too different for now, because we need to increase the number of trials to add more work, because um, the the one of the disadvantages of that code of that approach is, um, or in general, the more computation you have, the better it also is to actually distribute it over many cores. So yeah, so maybe now now everyone is stuck on this uh, spinning up thing. See, yeah. By the way, I haven't checked in the chat box. Maybe let's. Um, does does it does anyone have a working Shiny app-1 running, or are you still working, or do you get some error messages? I can't see anything from anyone, but I can also check a little bit on what you're doing, because we should see and sudo cd home as was said. Because I mean, as we discussed earlier, there should be some CMQ SSH models. Yeah, so a couple of you have that already. So we can take a look what POSIT 009 is doing with more POSIT 009 CMQ SSH. There we are. I mean, that seems to have run, that seems to run okay. It's just submitted and waiting. Let's go. And here we have a error message, argument successes, missing. All the others seem to be, there's also argument. Success is missing. Why is that? But I mean, we also can check one thing. So if I go to process 009 user, uh, because I mean, one of the things that we haven't done yet is well, here you see like the Slurm template that uses to do stuff. In order to start running, to execute this cluster MQ package, it needs to be available somewhere. So what I will do here, and you also can follow along if you use the SSH command once more, and then run. So I'm logged in as user posit 009, so you don't need to do that stuff. But if you then type capital R and then run install.packages, plus the MQ, because there's also the problem that without this package pre-installed somewhere on your user account, the whole thing will not work. So if you can uh, follow that stuff and go to this SSH session like here. Oops. And I will interrupt my SSH up for now. So if you do run this thing here again, like that, and of course with your POSIT user, and I run the same thing, then I type R, install that packages, plus.mq. And you see it asks me whether I want to have a personal library. I say yes, yes. Then I'm installing that cluster MQ stuff in there. Cool. Try that and see if that then works better. Any takers or anyone willing to put something in the chat? I mean, we also can get a screen share going with some of you so we can see what's going on. Ah, for Evo it works. That's excellent. Cool. I will stop sharing real quick. Uh, and ping Phil. Okay, so we have Evo working, and then Mahesh Kumar, you updated libpass, and if you rerun stuff, does it work now or still a problem? And Jennifer, you also are still getting the error, so I'm trying to. Oh, I mean, maybe if either Jennifer or Mahesh Kumar wants to try, if you can share your screen, maybe we can take a look together. I mean, I cannot guarantee. That's awesome. So we can see your screen. Great. Now let me make it. Okay, so you're on Posse Cloud. You're on this, yeah. So Renf Restore, yeah. Okay, that's great. And what does you have updated that stuff? That's great. And now, can you run the app as it is now? Yeah, you have that folder. That's great. Now just run the app and see what's happening. That's wonderful. Okay, so that's the first thing is working. That's great. It's now starting the app. Bam. Cool. Yeah, that seems to. Okay. Oh, now we have an error on what? Oh, there's no package path. Okay. Can you show me the lib path thing real quick? Yeah, and this is terminal, and you're sure that this is the same, yeah? Ah, okay. Can you change into the .shiny folder, please? Can you cd.shiny and then press the tab key on the HPC here. Here. Great. Do ls. Ah, okay. I think then we need to. I mean, what happened here? I think you previously probably got the error message cannot resolve packages or version conflict and stuff like that. So it hasn't installed all of the needed packages. So what can we do to make it work? I mean, there's two possibilities. Mahesh, I mean, either you remove that .shiny folder, you restart the Shiny application, and it will try to reinstall the packages. Alternatively, we also can manually install the Palmer Penguins package real quick, as you prefer.
Michael, I'm getting pretty close, and but I think I'm
Yes,
getting the same issue that when my app 2 runs, um, it sets everything up. It looks like it's getting the remote environment and installing the packages, and then it
yes,
fails on the Penguins package.
yes, yes. Yeah, and I think so. Mahesh and Phil, I think the reason why this doesn't work that way is because the technical design here is. I mean, first of all, you need to install that package remotely on a HPC cluster.
Okay.
So if you and you need to install it into the same .shiny folder where the BIOS manager and the pack is installed. Yeah. So no, Mahesh, go back, go to the other terminal where you're logged onto the HPC, and here you need to manually uh, here you manually need to type capital R to launch a R session. Enter. And now you can set the .lib path like you would set in the code, yeah, enter. And now you run install.packages Palmer Penguins. Great.
You, Michael, do you mind putting in the chat box the what you just the lib paths piece? I think is the bit that I'm stuck on.
Yeah. I mean the lib path is uh, great. Love more also got it working. It's good. So the lib path is this thing. Dot shiny something. So we need to run this stuff fill on the HPC cluster in our session. However, you need to then the dot shiny folder is different
Yeah.
for you.
So in the terminal, I'm in the cluster.
Yes,
And so if I run the libpass, shiny dot
yes,
dot dot, that is that the right thing for me to execute on the
yes,
image?
yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes. And Mahesh, I think to leave your okay to leave that session, just press type Q and round brackets open and close. If you want to leave yeah. No, Q and then round brackets. Q, open brackets, close brackets, something like that. Yeah, I know. Wait. No, can you type ls again, Mahesh? ls. Okay, now you have the Palmer Penguin stuff. And now go back and restart the Shiny app again. Yeah, that's okay. Because I mean, the thing that is maybe difficult to understand if you do that for the first time is that you now have like the R packages all set up on your Shiny server on POSIT Cloud or POSIT Workbench or workshop environment, and then the whole HPC stuff running on the remote HPC cluster where it also needs the R packages. There we are. Now it's working for you. You see, and now you can uh, yeah play around. Cool, awesome. So Phil, are you also making progress?
It's not crazy about my lid paths command, so I'm just trying to wrap my head if
Sure. I mean, maybe do you want to share the screen and we can
yeah,
take a
sure,
look?
I can real
Because
quick. Yeah, let me see if I can.
maybe it's also helpful for others.
I
Because I
had
mean,
it
that is
for a
that
second.
lip pass thing is also kind of a omission for me. So are you on the HPC cluster?
Yeah, it
You're
looks. Yeah.
you're on the terminal. So yeah. So first of all, do a ls-la. Uh,
LA.
yeah, like that. Enter. And now you see you have a .shiny folder somewhere up here uh, in the middle. You see over here,
Right
yeah.
here.
Yes. And now I want you to copy that and now press type capital R to launch an interactive R session.
Oh, capital. Is this? That's not.
Control C or enter, and then should be
Okay.
capital R.
Capital R. Got it.
That will launch a manual R session, enter, and now type the .lib path thing,
Okay.
.lib path,
Oops. Not that. Let me see. Okay, so dot.
like a lib, capital P, capital
Oh,
P,
capital P. Gotcha.
uh,
Okay.
uh, open brackets, double quotes, and then your shiny stuff, dot shiny,
Chinese. Got it.
double quotes, and close brackets,
Cool.
enter.
I'm just gonna copy this real quick because I need it. Okay.
Yeah, and then you can run install.packages, Palmer Penguins,
Oh,
almost there.
one more here. Let me see if I can.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm just making sure how to spell penguins.
oh yeah, got it. Cool.
Yeah, there we go. Yes. Cool. Just like that.
Yeah, like that. Enter.
Okay.
And you see it's now installing it into that .shiny folder. And
Sweet.
now, now you can go back straight to your Shiny app and on your R console, or you can leave that with Q or go to the console and run the Shiny app proper.
Okay. So I think I've got it up. Got it up here. I can just run the app.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're
exactly.
cool.
That's it. Should now
All right.
reload that.
Here's the app.
Very good. So setting up the road environment, that's good. And it's doing same error again now.
Yeah, do I need to restart the session?
No, what I mean, the .lib path you in the code, did you modify
Oh,
the
I know I have not. I did not. did not.
Ah,
I did not. So I got this. I'm sure
uh,
that's it. I'm sure that's
the
it.
cluster MQ libs thing here.
Tell me,
Yeah, there we are line on 50. That is, you
this
also
is
need
it.
to like tilde slash and then your dot shiny stuff.
Oh, the dot shiny stuff. So,
Yeah.
no, I don't think I saved it. Let me see if I got it back.
Right. Yeah, Lafmo, we'll get to your question in a moment. Okay. So, Phil, did you add that to your code, the .lib path? Phil? Okay, maybe lost him. Oh, but uh, well, to your question, Lafmo, I mean, it prompts me to enter the password. Is that, I guess that's the password for the HPC login, yeah? I mean, if that's the case, then I think your SSH copy ID command has not worked. So can you maybe re-execute the SSH copy ID command and see if that fixes it? And by all means, since Phil stopped sharing his screen, also feel free to uh, share the screen.
Oh, sorry about that. I, for some reason, lost my screen share, but I'm back.
Okay, cool. Oh, all right, then Lashmo, hang on 2 more minutes, and we will get Phil fixed up
Awesome.
and
Uh,
that one. Yeah.
So what do I replace here, Michael?
You need to put in the dot shiny stuff as before.
Yeah, do I replace all of this cluster
Yeah,
MQ
all of that stuff is
just like this?
like this precisely. And now you
Okay.
save that and rerun it.
Forward slash at the end here.
But
Okay.
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Okay, cool. All right. So don't need to restart R, just run the puppy.
Just run it, noticing yes.
All right. Oh, my terminal.
Maybe
My terminal
maybe
is,
maybe interrupt it first or
yeah.
control C or
Yeah, I hit that. It's still frozen here. Let me
oh
manually stop it.
yes.
See if I'll try the,
Yeah. And
sometimes this doesn't.
so for left wall, let's also get
Sweet.
um, then this stuff from the document. So left wall, if you could run this command here on your in the workshop or as a cloud environment in a terminal window, that would be good. And just make sure that you replace username with your posit username here. Okay, so I mean, Phil, I
I
think
think
you
so.
lost.
I think my session is a bit froze, but I think we're in a good shape. So I'm gonna run it and I'll let you know here in 2 seconds. So
Okay, awesome,
yeah.
thanks. And I mean, if that's the case, I think we have like another 15 minutes. So if you look at the project folder, I mean, I mean, I've probably prepared a bit more than uh, we
Michael, if you want
probably.
to share your screen again, just FYI.
Sure, right, I'll do that. So, I mean, if you look back at, I mean, I think now we have a good success with app 0 and app 1. Well, I think and I probably would probably uh, stop here. Uh, Stop here for now, because I mean the next apps would now mean to go to the Mirai package. However, I mean you have the access to the GitHub repository, and you also have. I mean, I will leave the HPC cluster running for the rest of the week. So by all means, you can come back and explore those other packages as well. So the reason why I went with the cluster MQ package, because I think it has the ability to use this SSH connection from your Shiny server, and then uses locally the Slurm commands to distribute the jobs to the respective compute nodes, and that makes it, in my opinion, very elegant. And I also, because things are so simple from that perspective, we also went through the whole um, hoops of um, using the init functions here, the init data, the HPC setup functions, and the init function that will remotely create all of those, the .shiny folders, and install all of the packages that you would need. So, I mean, that's just to keep that thing very clean and relatively easy to understand. The Mirai package, and I probably can just gloss over it a little bit, is kind of different um, because the Mirai package does not use any templates that would allow you to uh, kind of hide the complexity of some of the IT stuff. So you see, I have uh, some strange looking stuff here, like the my HPC stuff. The private key stuff is now hard coded in the source code. However, I think the reason why I think Mirai is definitely worth exploring is because I believe it is kind of the future. And secondly, if you manage to define such a Mirai context, or if you're able to start so-called Mirai daemons that are in that case pointing to SSH configuration that is doing all the remote SSHing and stuff like that, I mean, then this opens you a whole world of possibilities, because there is a package called future.mirai where you then can directly use futures from within your Shiny app, and they will then be automatically exported onto the HPC cluster without you ever thinking more about it. So, which means instead of again having access to the resources in local Shiny server, you again can make use of as many resources on a HPC cluster, and you have all in one unified environment. And and secondly, and that's maybe adding a bit more the POSIT touch now, um, the Mirai package also is at the moment integrated uh, into the so-called Perl package, which is, I should put it in the chat box. You, this package here. Yes, and Perl is like a package for object-oriented programming in R, and there you have lots of map commands of sorts and many other things. And as of late, behind the scenes, it already launches a Mirai cluster if there's no Mirai context uh, available. But if you predefine your Mirai daemons using the Slurm stuff, then any call to the Perl package will automatically use those daemons. And instead of again being limited to local processes, you can make use of your HPC environment again. So I think uh, that's why I uh, added this Mirai stuff again. The reason, the last reason why I didn't go full in on Mirai, which would have been an obvious thing to do, is because Mirai at the moment does not support the nice chaining of the SSH connection to the actual Slurm submissions. So, as a matter of fact, if you look at the app 4, um, app 3 and app 4, app 3 will allow you to launch those Mirai daemons to do SSH connections, and then launch the R processes locally on the login node, which may not be the best thing to do. But I mean, I just put it there as an example. And the app 4 is then doing the same thing on a Slurm cluster, where you would need to run the Shiny app really locally on a login node where you can directly submit stuff to HPC cluster. Yeah, I mean, that's just a little bit more background on top of everything. Well, but now I see Mahesh is asking a very good question. How will it work for a Shiny app deployed on POSIT RS Connect? Yes. So I probably could turn the arrow around and say to you, Mahesh, I mean, in principle, now you have everything you need to know about how to make it work with POSIX RS Connect. However, don't get me wrong, I mean, you still have the process of deploying the app to POSIT Connect. So, however, again, let's just take a step back and for the last 5 or 6 minutes, uh, how we how we made the app work. I mean the app one with the SSH connections. So the app one is using. I just can go back here. It's using this SSH connection um, to do SSH tunnel and stuff like that. And the only thing it really needs is the location of this uh, private SSH key. So if you now think about such a Shiny application wants to be deployed on the Connect server, that means that the so-called application bundle that is being created on the Workbench side of things needs to somehow contain that this .ssh or the myHPC SSH key. And so the only change that you really need to do is to make sure that myHPC key is part of the application bundle. So you probably want to copy it into the application directory. Maybe make a .ssh myHPC here, make sure that it's also part of the files to be deployed. And then last but not least, you also need to then modify the SSH template to not have this tilde in front, but just to use relative path. Because the the Shiny app on the Connect server will be executed from some random directory that no one ever should know. So this command will then use the .ssh thing as via relative path. Yeah, so I think those are the two main things that need to be changing. And I mean, as a little homework, I mean, you guys probably have access to this this document, right? I will just share it once more. This document you can make a bookmark locally. And for those of you that have survived until now, I will I will I will commit. I mean, I will commit to add one example uh, that you can deploy to your local Connect server, and provided that this local Connect server is allowing SSH access to this Shiny HPC cluster, you should be able to deploy that. And if not, I'm happy to have an individual conversation with you guys. I mean, just um, maybe send an email to info at, I mean, Phil, would the best go at info at our farmer, or should I just let them have my email?
Yeah, I would say either way is perfectly fine with us. If you're trying to get in touch with our pharma, I would probably say there's two ways to do that. One is our contact page, which I just put in the chat box, but then also uh, info at rnpharma.com will also go to the nonprofit. And we can send stuff to Michael, but feel free to reach out to Michael directly as well. Either way works perfectly fine. So,
Okay, cool. I mean,
yeah.
then I mean, I posted my email address as well, so you can contact me offline. I mean, because we only didn't have 100 people today. I mean, I think the traffic should be fairly small. Vote. I mean, I'm interested to make sure that this connect deployment also works. Yeah. So, I mean, give me maybe 1 or 2 days for then this document also should have an example and the GitHub repository as well, an example that you can deploy to connect and then remote submit to this HPC cluster. Okay, I think this was this was rather fast. 2 hours, 2.5 hours. I hope that it was at least somewhat helpful for some of you. I think we at least had success with a couple of people. I mean, just watch this document and as and this will be extended as we go along further. Yeah. So you can use that as your, and likewise the GitHub repository as well. You can use as your go-to resource going forward because I will also keep adding stuff to that stuff as well. I mean, with that, thanks for your patience. Thanks for the collaboration also from Phil and from Arn Farmer. Thanks for hosting me today. And I, I mean, I'm almost curious to see if one of you will actually be using that stuff in your day-to-day work. If you do, and if you have success stories, feel free to share.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Michael. I felt like I was doing the whole thing, so I feel like I can claim the badge for this one because I completed it. But very much appreciate you volunteering and giving the community your time and energy and knowledge today. I just got a couple quick things, and I'll close the bridge. If you need a badge or want a badge, fill out the form that we put in the chat box. The second thing is we'll edit this video and get it posted on YouTube. It takes a month or two. So if you want to revisit the material, feel free to check out our YouTube page in probably a month or so. Our next event is going to be the Hangout. I posted that in the chat box. That's going to be on December 16th. The ARN Pharma community gets together and has various topics. So if you want to ask questions about HPC or whatever, that will be a great place to do it with other people from the pharma community. With that, thanks so much for coming. And I think, Michael, we can open it up for questions or end the bridge whenever people are ready. So thanks again. And Michael, any final comments or any questions by the attendees?
As mentioned, thanks to our farmer for hosting, and thanks for the patience of the people. And I think we at least got got to some working applications, which is quite exciting. Yeah. Thanks for everything.
Right. And just on time, 1:30, we'll go ahead and end the bridge and we'll see everybody next time. Thanks again, Michael.
All right. Bye. Bye, guys.
Right.